Having excitement when you're trading, I would argue, is costing nearly any trader potentially $10,000 per month. Let me show you exactly how. So, everybody knows the adage that you're supposed to be excited or love what you do, basically. And I agree 100%. But when it comes to trading, having excitement in trading is not good at all for these four reasons. And first off, being it sets a gambling mindset. Now, what do I mean when I say a gambling mindset? So, trading is one of those things where you get a huge just rush of dopamine like you would when you're gambling. And that's why so many people equate something like day trading. I can write it here. I know the handwriting is terrible, so just bear with me, but people equate stuff like day trading to gambling. No, that's terrible, but let's just imagine that says gambling for a second. And for the most part, they're right. Because for so many people, day trading actually does equal gambling because they have so much excitement when it comes to what they do. And I agree, excitement is great, but with trading, that excitement quickly turns into gambling because you get such a hit, you get such a rush when you're right, when you win a trade, that you're going to keep on seeking that. You're going to keep on chasing that. You're going to keep on pursuing that. And trading is never one of those things. And this is probably going to be my next video. But when it comes to trading, you want to attract instead of chase. Because if you try to chase trades, you're always going to be losing money. But if you try to attract trades, you're always going to be making money. And how do you attract the right trades? How do you attract the right trades in the market, actually making money in the market? It's all stemming from up here, your mindset, your psychology. That's why I built this whole channel on psychology. That's why I teach traders psychology. And that's why I believe the one and only true way to become and stay profitable is by mastering your psychology, what you have inside your head. And I think almost regardless of strategy, you will find success in the market. But that's a different story. So, the first reason why you need to kill excitement and what excitement causes in trading is a gambling mindset. And as long as you have that gambling mindset, you're going to keep putting more and more and more money on a trade. You're going to keep doubling down. You're going to keep coming back to trading, even though you should be done for the day. You're going to go outside your strategy, trying to chase a trade, trying to win, because you have a gambling mindset. Just for story time, so we can cement this a little better. I went to a casino for the first time, I don't know, a few years ago or so. And I remember I said to myself, I was going into that casino with just $10. Can we write 10 here? Just $10. And I said to myself, I'm only going to spend this $10. So let me find the absolute cheapest thing I can put my money on so I can at least play as long as I can. Well, I went to a blackjack table and in two hands, this $10 was gone. And I was so mad that $10 left. I was so mad I got taken out. I thought I was so close. I thought I could have won, whatever. That quite naturally, I went and I got 10 more dollars, right? With the same mindset. And then after that, 10 turned into 30, right? And then 30 kept climbing and climbing and climbing. And before I knew it, I spent way more money in that casino than I ever intended to. That happens with trading. And if you just take a second, pause this video, reflect on your trading, reflect on the over trading or revenge trading you may have. If you have those types of tendencies in your trading, it's likely because in some area, some form, some degree, whether it's excitement over the process of trading, whether it's excitement over the possibility of making money, whether it's excitement over whatever field that you may be in when it comes to trading, all types of excitement, you really have to dial that down. Because if not, you're going to risk being in this boat. And you never want to be in this boat as a trader for this very example, because you're going to spend 10 bucks on a trade, you're going to invest $10 in a trade, lose it, you're going to want to double down and then double down with higher lot sizes. And then you're going to keep going up and up and up on stuff you shouldn't even be trading that doesn't go with your strategy. So gambling is first. Second, and this is one that people never think about, It's just as bad, if not worse, than gambling, and it's going to be education. So everybody believes, and I understand where this comes from because I've been day trading well over a decade before turning over to actually teaching traders psychology. So I understand where this comes from. Education is one of arguably the worst things you can do when it comes to trading. Once you have baseline understanding of how to trade, start trading. No, that's not financial advice, of course. But once you have that baseline understanding, start putting trades on the market. Stop investing in strategies and start investing in actual things that's going to move the needle towards profitability, which, from my experience, is always going to be psychology, mastering your mindset. And I find the more education, the more people learn about the markets, the more people study the markets, the more people understand different strategies that they can trade. Once people start, studying different indicators, different moving averages, different things out there, I find that it creates hesitation, over trading, analysis paralysis more than anything else because you're going to have 50 different momentum indicators you do, 50 different reversal patterns you're going to learn. You're going to learn all of these different things, and they're always going to be in contradiction with each other. And the very few trades that you get where just about all of the indicators line up together, guess what? That trade is probably going to lose. And when that trade loses, it's going to absolutely crush you as a trader because you said to yourself, man, I spent all of this time learning all of this education, waited on the perfect entry. The perfect entry came and it still didn't win. And guess what? You're going to want to learn more education so you can stop losing when you don't understand that losing is a part of the game. That's why I say highly educated people don't make great traders. I'm sorry, but that's just the reality of it. Because highly educated people fix their problems by learning more. They fix their problems by reading more books and doing what they say. Trading is the opposite. Because with trading, it's not a game of how much you know, it's a game of how you're able to use what you know in a disciplined manner. And that all comes from your mindset. And that's why I see doctors, lawyers, like highly educated people that want to enter into the market that might have retired and, want to day trade for fun or for a living after retirement, whatever. They almost always do very poorly in the market simply because they're too educated and they've trained themselves to fix their problems by learning more. And trading is not that. I would argue that education, that going out to learn more strategies, whatever, that actually makes you worse in trading. And I know it sounds crazy to say, but for the reasons that we talked about, learning all of the indicators, all of the moving averages, everything like that, it actually brings you further from your goals because you're distracting yourself from the true thing you need to learn, which is psychology, fixing your mental. So now that we got that out the way, so excitement in trading can lead to gambling. When you're excited about trading, it leads you to want to learn everything you can about trading so you can stop losing trades, which is absolutely ridiculous. And here's the one that so many traders I talk to, so many traders that I may coach, teach, whatever the case may be, so many traders have this mindset when they come. And it's cost them so much money, but they just don't know how to fix it because they don't know the truth of things. And that's going to lead us to point three, which is going to be strategy. When I go on YouTube, when I go on Instagram, when I go on all of these different sites and I look up trading, I look up day trading, I look up swing trading, I look at any type of trading, the main thing I'm seeing is people running advertisements or people having videos on their strategy. How their strategy is the golden strategy, how their strategy made them $1 million within 2 months, whatever, whatever, whatever. And they're selling their strategy for $10 billion, right? We've all seen those ads on YouTube, Instagram. We've all seen those ads. We've all seen those YouTubers pushing you to buy whatever their strategy is. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm never going to say to do your own homework. But from what I've seen, you can have the best strategy in the world. But if your psychology and your mental's not right, it's not going to do anything. Let me give you this analogy, if if I can. And this may be an analogy that's not the best, but let me give it to you anyway. I don't know if anybody watches. This is a great one. F1, right? It took a little second to brainstorm a great analogy, but F1, you have the F1 cars. They spend millions of dollars developing these cars. Ferrari, um, Lamborghini, all of these people. I don't watch F1 as you can tell, but they spend a lot of money developing these race cars. You can have an average Joe get into one of those cars, and then you can give another driver that may be an F1 driver, you can give them a very fast car, right? Maybe like a street BMW that you may buy at the dealership, right? On paper, the guy that has the car that costs millions of dollars to make, the guy that has that F1 car, on paper, he should win. But in reality, the F1 driver, even though he has a slower car that anybody can buy at the dealership, I promise you he's going to win because he's going to know exactly how to get the most out of that car. While the guy who has the best car, the F1 car that they developed just for racing, he's not going to know how to get the most out of that car. He's going to brake way too early or brake way too late. And at the end of the day, he's probably going to be crashed on the side of the racetrack. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say is this: you can have the best strategy in the world, but still be crashed on the side of a racetrack. Because if you don't know how to get 100% out of this strategy, then what good is it to have the best strategy in the world? It doesn't do you any good. And I find that people always go and they join more and more and more and more trading communities. And they buy courses from more and more gurus, hoping that their strategy is going to be the strategy for them. When they find out that each and every single strategy that they've tried that's supposed to be amazing, they either say that courses are a scam, that gurus are a scam, or that it's impossible to make money day trading. And I promise you, that's not the truth. The truth is, you put so much reliance on strategy that you totally neglected psychology. So that when these strategies didn't work out, they didn't work out because you weren't focusing on the right thing. And that's why so many people have this golden strategy disease, where they keep going and buying more and more and more and more courses, spending more and more and more money, trying to find that perfect strategy that doesn't exist. And they're on a never ending search for something that doesn't exist. That's why I say excitement in trading, when you're very excited about trading, that's going to lead you to try to find the absolute best strategy that you can. But very quickly, you're going to learn that, hey, I would rather have a basic strategy, an okay strategy I can find off a YouTube video, and pair that with rock solid psychology, than having a great strategy, spending all my money on strategy, and my psychology is not great. I have seen way more traders do much better when they have a basic strategy, great psychology, than having basic okay psychology and having strategies that they pay tens and thousands of dollars for. I promise you. Understand the priority of trading. So let's recap what we have so far. So excitement in trading is going to cause a gambling mindset. Terrible. Like we already said with the casino. Excitement in trading is going to cause you to want to become the most educated person in the world about trading, which I promise you will not benefit you. Excitement in trading is going to want you to find that golden strategy that doesn't exist. So now that we have these three, first, before we even go to the last one, I want you to ask yourself, which one of these three have you been seeing in your trading? Which one of these three have you actually been doing in your trading? Or have you done all of them? And if you've done any of these three, I want you to ask yourself, okay, what's some practical methods that I can start using today right, this week to actually fix this in my trading so that you can start dialing down the level of excitement that you have in your trading so that these manifestations of excitement in trading, gambling, education, strategy, so that all of these manifestations can actually start to diminish and you can start getting closer and closer to the road of profitability. That's so important. And the last but not least thing that excitement causes, and it's counterintuitive to what we've been talking about, but it's the most important. That's why I put it last. It's going to be this. I'm going to just do psych. This is short for psychology. So, this whole video, this whole channel, exactly what I do is all based around helping traders have the best psychology they possibly can around trading. And once they do, let's create a system around that psychology to help you remain more consistently profitable in your trading. When you're excited about trading, it's impossible to have great psychology. And if you don't have great psychology, like we've been talking about all video, it's impossible to truly have long term success in the market. And if you do find success in the market without working on your psychology, it's just like making money in the casino. It's just a matter of time before you give it all back and then some. And the reason why excitement is the counter opposite of having great psychology is because how can I have great psychology, have a disciplined mindset, have a probabilistic numbers mindset when I'm excited about placing a trade, when I'm excited about the amount of money I'm up in a trade, or losing my mind over the amount of money I'm down in a trade, or I'm looking at a trade setting up and I'm so excited that I may be able to take a trade today because it's matching my criteria. And when it doesn't match my criteria slightly, so I shouldn't take the trade, I'll either be so distraught because it came so close and it didn't happen that I'm going to want to over leverage or jump the gun on the next one, or I may just decide to get in this one, even though it's not my trading setup. And most likely you're going to lose that trade. So excitement is the counter opposite of having great psychology in the market. That's why I tell traders all the time, if you're excited about trading, in my opinion, there's a big issue here because it's going to lead to a lot of things that you don't want to have happening. That's going to cause your actual probabilities of making long-term money to become much worse. Because what people always look at what their win rate is and what their risk reward is, because that lets you know how profitable you're going to be in the long run. But the issue with that is that it's misleading because your win rate and risk to reward is if you're able to follow your strategy 100%. Little to no traders are able to follow their strategy 100%. Why? Because your psychology always gets in the way. So that win rate and risk to reward that you see from a strategy or that you may be buying from somebody else selling a strategy, you will not achieve that because that's all based on what you have up here in your mind, your mindset towards trading, your psychology. So it's very much so misleading figures, but people don't understand that. People don't see that. Your psychology determines your profits. And that is why I need every single trader watching this video. I don't care if you buy from me or not, whatever, doesn't matter. I need every trader watching this video. I need you to analyze, are you excited towards trading? Do you have excitement? Do you have excitement when you place a trade? Do you have excitement when a trade is setting up? Do you have excitement when you're winning up 500, 1,000, $10,000 in a trade? Do you have excitement? If you do, there's something wrong here. Evaluate which one of these four do you fall under. And then I need you to make the decision, not a choice, but make the decision to prioritize your psychology over strategy, education, and all of these other things. Because I promise you that, let me not promise. There's no financial promise, there's no guarantee. But from what I've seen, psychology is by far the most game changing, needle pushing thing that you can possibly do to get you towards this goal, profitability. Now, if you want help with any of this stuff, if you want to learn how to master your psychology, look, I would love for you to click the link Excuse me. Oh wow, that's horse. I would love for you to click the link in the description, check out what I have for you. I'm sure that it will absolutely impact your trading in great ways. And no, that's not a financial promise at all. Not a financial advisor, but I have been able to work with traders, and I have seen this work time and time again. Get on the right side of trading. Stop making the mistakes and get towards profitability. Look, this is already trades, and I'm out.